Very good.
This is the fullest Q&A so far, and I think it's because we have someone who's starred in Star Wars, all of the Harry Potter films. He's had to put up with Carl Pilkington on a trip into Asia, and most recently he's had a very successful sitcom in the UK, Life's Too Short. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubai, Warwick Davies.
Nice one. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow, this is nice. What a lovely welcome. Thank you very much indeed, everyone. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Can everyone see okay? I'm a bit low down here. But yeah, look, standing room only at the back there. So yeah, welcome. We're going to have just a kind of informal chat. Everyone can ask questions, I guess, as well.
They will. I think I'm going to ask a few questions.
You
first.
go
I'm
ahead.
going to abuse my position of power and ask a couple of questions first, because it's,
Okay.
it's personal. It's just me and you. There's no one else here. It's just me and you, right?
Just having a little chat.
Yeah. So, Life's Too Short. They just had the Easter special in the UK.
Yes.
That's been a phenomenal success in the UK.
Yeah, I mean,
and worldwide.
Yeah, it's been all over. I mean, I was very impressed to realise that people had seen it over here, and obviously lots of other places in the world. I think it's shown in over 100 countries now. And yeah, we did just have an Easter special, which was terrific actually. It's a cameo from Val Kilmer in this one. So you can imagine the topic is more about Willow than it was even in the series. And it was great to share the screen with him again after 25 years. We hadn't done anything together in that time. And this year actually celebrates the 25th anniversary of the Willow coming out in cinemas with a Blu-ray as well. So yeah, which is really good.
Now, of course, you was in the last Star Wars, Episode 6.
Yes.
Episode 7's being written. Will Wicket come back?
Well, I don't know. I don't think they're going to necessarily go the way of having more Ewoks. Do you? I mean,
but they're so cuddly.
Oh, they are cuddly. They are lovely. But I mean, Ewoks divide the fan community. I'm sure there are some haters amongst the crowd here.
No, there's no haters here.
I can imagine there might be. But yeah, I mean, Ewoks divide the fan community. I don't think they'll be back for episode 7. I mean, the story's going to have moved on some years. I don't think the rebels are still hanging around on Endor partying, do you?
Well, I think a lot of them were killed, weren't they? So, you know,
yeah, but there was still a little group having a party. Vader was on the fire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know?
But was that barbecue? The Ewoks eat people?
No, they don't.
Oh,
I
okay,
think Vader's gone out by now, and then the rebels have said, thanks a lot, Ewoks, see you later. They've flown off somewhere else. And that's where the story's going to pick up. This isn't official, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone's
spoiler alert!
Oh my God!
Spoiler alert! Episode 7 is the return of the Ewoks.
Yes.
Just remember.
So there you go.
Okay, so we've done Harry Potter 8 films. I think we found the demographic.
Harry Potter, yeah. So there've been 8 of those, yeah, and I was in all of them, fortunately, very fortunately, playing all sorts of different characters. The great thing about the work that I do in those films is that they can disguise me with various prosthetic makeups and make me look different, which allows me then to appear in all of the films. But not only that, I can appear in the same film twice as 2 different characters. So taking the last film as an example, Deathly Hallows Part 2, I was Griphook, and then I died and I was Flitwick. So which is good, because I would think what they felt with that, I thought, oh no, Warwick's, you know, he's dead on screen, the film's not going to be as good. But yes, it is, because he's Flitwick, he's in it again. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I think people had just left.
Did you get double pay for that though?
No,
double
you don't.
bubble?
You just get the same.
It's going to be
money.
double bubble.
Yeah, you just get the same thing. I mean, I never had to do it at the same time though. That would have been awkward. You know, if Flitwick and Griphook had had a scene together, you know, they could have done it, but it would have been more tricky.
Okay, so after Harry Potter, how did you get involved with Ricky Gervais, and why?
Well, my initial involvement with Ricky came with a weird phone call, actually. A long time ago, not in the galaxy far away, in my kitchen at home. The phone rang and I answered it, and the voice said, "Hi, it's Ricky Gervais." I went, "Oh yeah, who is it?" And he then started laughing. And for those of you who've heard Ricky laugh, you'll know that he is unique. And so when he did that, I was like, "Whoa, it must be him." Nobody laughs like that. And he started to tell me the concept of extras. This was before anything had been on. There'd been no series of extras at this point. And talked to me about this episode he'd like me to do. and he just said, I just want to check with you, is it okay if I kick you in the face accidentally in the episode? And I said it'll be an honour. And so that was that. And then I didn't hear anything for a while, and they actually went and made the first series, and this episode wasn't included. But then when it came around to the second series, obviously they included the episode, and the famous kneeing in the face incident was there, along with Mr. Daniel Radcliffe as well in the episode. And then that's really what kind of introduced Ricky to me and me to him, and I kind of kept in touch with him. And then when I had the idea about Life's Too Short, then I just got in touch with him and said, what do you think of the idea? Not really realising that it was something he would want to do. I was just really getting some feedback from a comedy legend.
And of course, in that series, you're there with Johnny Depp,
yeah, we had
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
It's just, what's it like working with these people?
It was great. I mean, on the days that the cameo actors come in, I mean, people like Liam and Johnny, they only play one day on the shoot, so we're ready for that day, and they would come in and do all of their scenes in one day and leave because they're busy actors. And yeah, there was always a sense of kind of anxiety on the set, of tension on these days. But what we found is that each person that came in, like Liam or Johnny, they were actually a little more nervous than we all were about coming in to do this. But as soon as they'd been around for a few minutes, they kind of got the idea that we were all just having fun with the whole thing anyway, and soon relaxed into it. And you know, as you can see, I think the results on screen speak for themselves and how brilliant these people were. I mean, Johnny was unbelievable. We had his scenes done, but he just wanted to do more stuff. I mean, he had so much time. I mean, there's loads of stuff you don't see in the series. For example, in the hotel room, if you remember the time when he's playing the little flute, getting me to do the Michael Flatley thing, which was a very odd moment. I had one of those out-of-body experiences then. I'm saying, is this really happening now? You know, am I really dancing the river dance to Johnny Depp doing the flute thing? I mean, it's a weird moment. But then there's a bit, he said, get on the bed, jump on the bed. So I don't know I can't remember where that's in there, me jumping on the bed. Then he leapt on the bed, on top of me and went, kiss me. Like this. And then Ricky shouted out from the other room by the monitors, if Johnny Depp wants to kiss you, let him kiss you. Cheers, thanks Ricky. Yeah, weird experiences on that. I mean, we had Helena Bonham Carter as well in, who else did we have? Sting came in for a day. That was an odd day as well. I mean, it was terrific.
Obviously, you say Helena Bonham Carter, you're there, and they put you in a bin.
Yeah,
they make you stand in a bin.
Well, the idea of that was showing really the kind of hierarchy amongst in the acting profession. So if you go on as a supporting artist or an extra, you're kind of very far down the scale, and if you're doubling for somebody or a stand-in, you're even further down in the hierarchy, and then it increases up to the lead star of the piece. Obviously can, you know, do what they want and fire whoever they want. So really what it was showing is that kind of thing. So Warwick comes into this thinking he's going to be playing opposite Helena. He actually took work away from somebody else that was supposed to do it so he could do it, and then it obviously comes back to haunt him because he ends up as a double for somebody else, a child who can't work because they've used all their hours up on set, and then as a result, then Helena starts using her power and sort of just abuses the situation a little bit, and Warwick gets his comeuppance. So he shouldn't have pushed in, you see. That's the great thing, you know, whenever he did something wrong, something happened to kind of, yeah, very much in the kind of vein of Laurel and Hardy and those classic comedies where people think they're better than they are, they're quite pompous, but then always we love to see them get knocked down a peg or two, and that's what happened to Warwick all the time.
Okay, one last question from me. So if you've got a question for Warwick, make a nice orderly queue there. Yes. Last question for me. How did you get involved with Idiot Abroad and Carl Pilkington?
Well, that came about because we were doing Life's Too Short actually, and Carl was away doing series 2 of Idiot Abroad, and Ricky would actually call him up now and again. And I said, you know, he's very lucky, isn't he, doing what he does, travelling the world, seeing the things that he does. I don't think he ever really appreciates how lucky he is. And he said, no, he doesn't. And also at the same time, Carl was saying, I'm never doing this again, Ricky, unless you come with me. So Ricky doesn't like to leave Hampstead in London. So he obviously put 2 and 2 together and came up with the idea of sending me with Carl for the next series, which became the Idiot Broad 3. Just so that I could try and educate Carl and make him realise that Ill wasn't quite as bad as he might have thought, and indeed, you know, he should open his eyes a bit and accept things for what they are a little bit more. So that's how it came about. But yeah, I spent 5 weeks travelling with Carl. It was a test of endurance, not only physically but mentally, spending that much time with him. He tends to do your head in a bit, but he's funny at the same time. You know, you put up with all this moaning, but then once in a while there's this gem of a comment that he makes that just makes you laugh, and you kind of forgive him for all of the other moaning that he does, which is what we do as an audience when we watch the show as well, don't we? You wait for those little moments when he says something so absurd and so ridiculous that it makes you laugh.
Sometimes it was quite insensitive. There was a bit where he said to Ricky, you told me it'd be like Dick Whittington, and he had a cat. I've got Warwick. Give me a cat.
Yeah, we would want to swap me with a cat.
He went to swap you with a cat.
Yeah, no. He doesn't mean any malice. He just says stuff without thinking about it, I think. But I took no offence whatsoever. I mean, I gave as good as I got on that trip. I kind of learned how to wind Carl up and enjoyed the process of doing that.
When you were getting like the really nice hotel rooms and he was getting the ones next to the toilet.
Neither of us realised that was occurring either. That was what was funny. It's when we watched it back, we both looked at each other and went, how was... And he was like, I don't... So we neither of us knew that was what was going on. Although we did share tents and gypsy caravans together, and you know, we went through some rough times as well. You know, I didn't always get the best treatment.
Okay. It's up to you guys now. Let's have question number 1.
Hello.
Hello.
Out of all the Leprechaun films which you appeared in, which one would be your favorite part?
There's a leprechaun fan there, and he doesn't mind admitting it either. Look at that, a very brave man. Which was my favourite part? Which was your favourite part?
I should say part 1.
The part 1. They went downhill after that then. Okay. I know why I liked it. Jennifer Aniston, that's why I like part 1. Or was it my performance?
Yes.
Yes, that's the right answer, well done. So what was my favourite? I mean, I like the more comedy that we did in those films, the better I felt, really, because they were never really truly horrific, were they, in any sense of the word? I mean, they were more kind of like horror comedies with a very much a slant on the comedy. So I think I like the one where we went to Vegas. That was quite fun, Leprechaun in Vegas, because he loves gold and stuff, and this was the place of his dreams. He couldn't believe his luck. We actually filmed in Las Vegas for real, but we didn't have all the necessary permits to do so. So there was a shot of me, you see me walking down the middle of the Vegas Strip, kind of thumbing a lift. Well, I was just doing it, I had a camera on me and said, just walk up there and thumb a lift. The looks I was getting from the cars, honestly, it was ridiculous. And then walking around the streets as well, people were thinking they'd had too much to drink. They were like, they were trying to grab me and take me with them. They thought I was lucky. They thought, we'll get a leprechaun and then we'll win. I mean, it was completely outrageous. They thought I was... But then again, some people didn't even notice because stuff is so weird in Vegas anyway. It was like, oh, it's a leprechaun, yeah, whatever. And so it was a very surreal night we spent in Vegas doing that.
Thank you.
Question? Thank you very much. Cheers.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for being here. You're like my childhood brought to life.
Well, thank
my
you very
childhood
much.
I've been up to and including now, obviously.
Excellent.
Firstly, I want to know, if I told you I had a brain tumour, could I get a hug for free?
Well, that's it. Yeah, she's referring to a joke from Life's Too Short, in which I was at a convention, not dissimilar to this, and somebody tried to get a free autograph by saying that they were. Well, they didn't know they were actually poorly and trying to get a free autograph, and then I realised the cameras were watching and it would be a good thing to give one to this poorly lad, and then everyone else in the queue then also tried the same thing on.
Me too.
Didn't actually have an illness, and I hear it now constantly whenever I appear anywhere. People, try and say that they're poorly.
So that's a no.
What?
That's right. What I want to know is life is short. A lot of it is fictionalized, obviously. Are any of those scenarios actually based in truth? Are there really such horrible people that ask you to do terrible things?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff in the series is based on reality. I mean, I conceived the series, so it was based on things that happened to me in real life. And obviously Ricky and Stephen are brilliant at taking those situations and ramping them up and exaggerating them and creating the brilliant comedy that you see. But many of the things happen. I mean, For example, I don't even remember the part where the lady was taking a picture of me as I was moving into my apartment. You know, there was a time when people would take pictures of me, and I wasn't sure of their motives. Sometimes it was okay, it was because there was a little chap, or was it because I was in films, and there was this ambiguity about it. And I mentioned this to Ricky and Stevie, you know, I'm never quite sure whether people are doing that. So that's what they came up with, is this lady, and I'm like posing, thinking, oh yeah, she knows me. And then she actually doesn't, she just thinks it's amusing to take a picture. And so that's where I've been like that. When I go shopping, I do use a mop to knock off the things, but then they added the idea of a security guard saying, excuse me, if you're going to use that mop to knock things off the shelf, you're going to have to buy it. And so, you know, it creates the comedy from that. So yeah, a lot of the stuff is real. A lot of the reactions I get from people are real as well.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, thank you. Is there any way to, just a second, whoever's working here, to reduce the air conditioning? My ear is forming an icicle on it at the moment from over here. It's quite the draft, it's incredible.
It is that one there. Manu had to get up and walk around yesterday.
Did he?
We can just turn that one off, there's an on-off button on it.
Yeah, but I don't want all these people to get hot.
They won't get hot, we're fine.
That way.
It's not that warm outside, we're alright.
Thank you. We can put it on in a minute again, but...
there is just an off button.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Is that your real hair?
No, it's not my real hair.
Probably good.
I just wanted to ask you, it said how like you always have lots of makeup on when they try to like change your role in a movie.
Yes.
So do you still recognize yourself after you wear makeup? Because I didn't actually know that you were the guy who holds like the sword in Harry Potter until I like read about it, because you looked so entirely different.
You're talking about Grip Hook, aren't you? The
Sorry.
goblin. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Mum. Yeah, Grip Hook, I mean, that was a very sort of immersive makeup there. I mean, it was took 4 hours to apply, and then on top of that we have these huge contact lenses, 23mm contact lenses, that cover my entire pupil, my whole eyeball, and then some teeth as well. So yeah, looking in the mirror, there's nothing of me looking back. Whereas Professor Flitwick, although that was a 2.5 hour makeup, when I look in the mirror, you see your own eyes looking back, and so it is still you in essence. But with Grip Hook, it was a different person, totally looking back, that just happened to move when I moved, which is pretty spooky. And often you sit in the makeup chair very early in the morning, and I would sometimes fall asleep. And then that's a weird feeling when you wake up and you look different. That's a very odd sensation. But I've never not recognised myself, obviously, because I know in my own brain that I just walked up to a mirror and looked in it, and understand that that is a reflection of me looking back, even though it looks different. So I'm not a lunatic. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows?
Mine?
What's your favorite part of the movie?
Favourite part of the movie?
Yeah.
What, when I was watching it or when I was filming it?
When you were watching it.
When I'm watching it, all my favourite parts are the parts with me in. Oddly, I love those parts. All the rest, I could just sort of take it or leave it, really.
What's your favorite part of
The
acting?
favourite part of film, I could add a bit of interest to this question. I think all the stuff on the cart was really interesting because, you know, it's not quite as exciting as it looks, you know, in the film. We were basically sitting on a cart that's on a gimbal, so a device that the computer can move in any direction like that. So we're all sitting up on top, and it's moving around with a green screen behind, and they would blow wind in our faces, and I would just sit there and move levers as if I knew what I was doing, steering the thing, you know. And then there comes a point when we're heading towards the waterfall, and I can't stop it. I'm trying to stop it, and they would be moving it around like that. And then we did one more exciting part where we had a very long piece of track laid out, and they put the cart onto this piece of track, a straight piece, and then they made us, they wet us all down with sprayers, and then they shot us along this bit of track, and then at a specific point we had to pretend like water had fallen on us through the waterfall, because that's not real either, that's CG put in afterwards. So we'd be driving along and they'd cue, and now, and we'd all act like, oh, you know, it's cold water, and then sit there for a minute and then realise what had just happened, and then of course all the seats give way and we fall off. So that was quite an interesting sequence to do. So yeah, I mean, I had a great time on Deathly Hallows. Lots of really interesting things. My favourite part at the end is when I have to help shelter Hogwarts with the spell. I think that's a really dramatic moment. You know, the teachers are there, and, you You know, this is the last thing that I think I was left out of doing any particular magic on those films. It was nice to finally be able to use the wand for what it was designed for, not just conducting an orchestra, which I had been previously. But thanks for your question. Terrific.
You didn't fancy just doing a couple of card tricks for Harry and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, with the
brilliant.
I know, and it was. I didn't get to do any of that really. Only at the very end. Bit of oh, well, there was a scene that was cut out. Actually, I did cast a spell onto Nagini as it slithered past me, but they didn't use that bit in the end. But I did I forgot what I said now, but I went bow, and it would have flinched away. But yeah, they didn't use that. Yes.
I'm a huge fan of your work, from Willow, Leprechaun, Harry Potter, Star Wars.
Thank
It's
you.
just that I want to know, how is it being friends with both Carl and Ricky? Like, Ricky Gervais is very offensive and very funny, very hilarious. Like, I was in a show he did in London and he's hilarious. And is Carl as stupid as he seems in real life, or it's just
Yeah.
a question.
I texted Carl yesterday. And I said I'm in Dubai at the minute, and all I can hear is people talking about you. It's doing my head in. I mean, seriously, he's huge, isn't he? Everywhere. Everyone loves Carl. But that's exactly what he's like. He's exactly like that. He's exactly like. There's no performance, no script, no acting. What comes out of Carl's mouth is what Carl wants to say, and that's it. As simple as that. I mean, he is a genius because he's very funny and he observes things in a truly unique way that only he does, and I think that's why he's so successful, is because people love to hear those observations, and you know, if we all were honest, sometimes we agree with what he says, don't we? I mean, on my travels with him, there were occasions when I thought, actually, he's right here, but I'm not going to give him the benefit of actually telling him he's right. I'll say the opposite, because you never want to encourage any more of that. But yeah, Ricky, he's a great show. He's a genius. He's a very, very clever man. Offence is taken. Offence isn't. He doesn't do things to offend people.
Yes, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? It's where you sit and how you choose to take it. Do you know what I mean?
I enjoy his comedy.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite comedians, top 10.
Absolutely. Cool. Excellent. Thanks for your question. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. My question is it true that you recently starred in a Doctor Who episode? And if yes, can you tell a little bit about the episode, about how was it working with the actors, with Matt Smith in particular?
Okay. Well, I can't tell you too much. Working on Doctor Who is much like working on Harry Potter. You kind of are sworn to secrecy, absolutely. But I can tell you I'm in an episode that features Cybermen. That has been out there already, that's not a spoiler. Which was really fun for me. I mean, I grew up watching Doctor Who and hid behind the sofa at home, watching it, and hid from Cybermen in the past, you know, and to be in an episode, you know, with these villains was terrific, you know, to come face to face with one. Well, not literally, I mean, they were up there, but, you know, it was a terrific experience. But it was a career ambition to be in a Doctor Who episode. I've been banging on about it for years, wanting to do this, and finally last November I had the opportunity to do it. It was an episode written by Neil Gaiman. If you know your writers, you'll know he's pretty good. Yeah, so that was exciting. I can't really tell you anything else about the episode. I mean, it's really a great character that I play. He's got a really interesting storyline. I can tell you one thing. He's 3'6" tall. I'm not going to give too much away, but that's it. The episode I'm in is later in the new season. Now in the UK, the season just started last weekend. The second episode is on today. So I think I'm in about episode 12. I think as we go on. But I just actually yesterday had to send one line of dialogue back to them that they were missing from my iPhone, which is weird. It's just record it on your iPhone, it will be perfect. So when you watch the episode, one of my lines was recorded on my iPhone in Dubai. There you go. Thank you very much.
Can I ask you something else?
You can.
Who's your favorite Doctor?
My favourite Doctor. The Doctor I grew up watching was Tom Baker. I liked him, and I worked with him in the Chronicles of Narnia TV series as well, so that was quite fun. I think David Tennant was really great. I loved him. But Matt, I mean, working with him, I kind of really realised how good he is at what he does. I mean, you take these scripts, and sometimes when you read it on the page, you can't make any sense of it, can you? The Doctor Who kind of what they're speaking about, it's all sci-fi and stuff. And you know, I read through, and obviously I read everyone else's lines as well. And I'm thinking, how is he going to make any sense of this? But as soon as Matt gets hold of it, he rattles through it at the fastest pace you can imagine, and makes it sound intelligent and real. And that's the key to it. I mean, Star Wars actors, when they first shot Star Wars A New Hope, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, they had trouble making sense of some of this stuff that George had written, because it hadn't been done before. And but Matt takes the stuff, turns it around, and they're just brilliant. The way that they can learn the stuff so quickly. And you know, you'll shoot an episode, an hour episode, in 2 weeks, which is phenomenal, because it's basically like making a small feature film. You know, the amount of special effects and other things involved in this. You know, and so the actors, you know, hats off to them. They do a terrific job in there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello. You can pull it down a little bit, that microphone there. So look at that. Okay, don't worry. You've got plenty of time. There's only a few hundred people waiting for you to speak. No pressure at all. No pressure.
Did you like the characters that you played in Harry Potter?
Did I like them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like them. I mean, I liked Grip Hook the most because he was a villain. And when you're an actor, it's great to play a villainous character, because everyone seems to remember the villains. So we all remember Darth Vader, for example. So playing a villain is a fun thing to do. And I think he was important in the story as well, which was nice. You know, he had a bearing on the plot and the journey that the heroes took through that story. So for me, I think I liked playing him. But I also liked playing Flitwick. He had the funny moments to do. Some of the comedy things that he did were quite fun. You know, having forks stabbed in his hand, being excited when the students rebelled against Umbridge. Those sorts of situations were quite fun to do. Do you have another question, perhaps? Are you sure? Yes. You've lined up there a long time. Are you enjoying your time here at the Comic Con?
Yes.
Is this your first time here?
Yes.
And what are you a fan of? Do you like comics, games, films?
I like games, but I kind of like Marvel and DC.
Do you?
Yeah.
Marvel and DC. Who's your favourite superhero?
It's between Hawkeye and...
Hawkeye. You see, Hawkeye bothers me a bit. Well, he doesn't do a lot, really, does he? He just sits there and shoots arrows. Oh, I knew this would happen. They're all going, gee, what you just said, tweet that. Look, you're slagging him off. So, Hawkeye, like, he sits and he's the one that shoots arrows. But are these super arrows? They can go into anything, can't they? Well, hang on, I thought you knew this.
You do know that the Sun newspaper's headline tomorrow is Warwick hates the Avengers.
That's it. I like the Avengers. I think it's great. I think they all work well together. I just don't know about him on his own. You know, I think I'd rather be hanging out with the Hulk, to be honest. I don't know whether his arrows could fully protect me. Could they?
You know,
Hawkeye.
I'm with you. I'm actually with you. I mean,
yeah.
Black Widow and Hawkeye, I'm not too keen on them.
What can she do? Weave webs on people?
She just looks great, doesn't she? I don't care what she does. She's just there to go, hi.
So everyone's just bewildered when they see her. They can't even attack.
But she just get Hulk.
Look at that lycra.
Puny Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So, no, actually, I'm just going to take all that back. I think I love Hawkeye.
Yeah. You've just saved yourself a big
scary,
storm.
Isn't it? When you say stuff like that in here. If you could be a superhero, who would you be?
The Hulk.
The Hulk. Very good. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello. What are you more proud of, Harry Potter or Star Wars?
That's a really good question. That's what I'm telling you.
Do we want to take a break there?
Difficult question. I'm going to upset people, but I mean, more proud of. It's when I say the answer to this, it's not that I don't like the other one. It's just what are you more proud of? And I think I've got to go back 32 years to when I started in this business. I started acting because I was in Star Wars. You know, because I got the part as Wicket. You know, without that, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. You know, for example, that's given me the opportunity to do everything I've done in my career. So I think I would be very proud of playing Wicket in Star Wars.
Also, I have one more question.
Go ahead, sir.
What was it like to be on the set of Harry Potter?
It's great, you know. What made those films so special was the people involved, the cast and the crew that we had to work with. Were all terrific. I mean, particularly Dan, Rupert, and Emma, who played the three leads in the films. You know, they grew up on screen. You know, they were about your height when they started, and you know, grew up to become fine young actors and young adults. And I think they did a terrific job. And the cast and crew, the whole crew, who, you know, we kept most of them for the entire run of 10 films. So you know, it was like one big family working on these films in the end. So it was a really, really terrific experience. And if you do get the chance to go to London, if you're a fan of the films, to visit the studio tour, it's really worth a visit. I mean, not only if you like Harry Potter, but if you're interested in filmmaking, it gives a really great insight into, you know, how they create these films and what goes into making a movie of this scale and this complexity. Thank you very much for your questions. Hello.
Hi.
Do you have ears? I can't quite see. You do?
Yeah, I do have ears.
Little ears. Lovely.
My question is, in Harry Potter, you played a couple of characters, but which character would you have rather played if you did choose?
Which other character in Harry Potter would I have rather played? I think Professor Snape was a good character, wasn't he? He was I mean, he was like, he looked cool. Yeah, that was very good. That's very good. That's good. Yeah, Alan, he was he's a great actor anyway. I mean, just the whole look, all of the dark robes and the lenses he had and everything, and just the kind of eccentric way that he played the character was really really enthralling to watch. One funny thing, I used to sit and look at Alan on the set, because we used to sit at the head table doing the scenes in the Great Hall, and we'd be sat there for hours and hours, not doing very much in particular, and Alan would be sat there with some little iPod headphones in, like this, and I often wondered, what is Snape really listening to? What's he got going on in his iPod? What do you think he'd be listening to?
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Imagine that.
That's why he was evil.
Snape's bopping away to Bieber. Yeah, that's what did it. So, that's what sent him over. So yeah, I used to sit there and play those sorts of games. I mean, it didn't last very long, obviously. Once I thought of a funny song, that was it. But you know, was it classical music? What was Snape listening to with his little white head? And just before they'd say, "Okay, roll cameras," and he'd just pop it out and slip it into his robe. Excellent. Thanks for your questions.
Can I ask another question?
You can indeed. Yes, come a little closer to the microphone. Yes.
It's sort of ridiculous, though. So.
Okay.
My question is, have you been in Rupert Grint's ice cream truck? Apparently he has an ice cream
truck. Have I been
truck.
in it?
Yeah, in it.
I haven't been in it. I have been served ice cream from it, which was rather a disappointment, to be honest. He brought the ice cream truck on the very last day of filming to sort of help us celebrate that it was the end and serve some ice cream. And him and Emma Watson got inside and started working the machinery. But in the UK, we call them Mr. Whippy, those machines. They produce a lovely cone of ice cream. But it was more like sort of Mr. Drippy, because it was this sort of liquid that was coming out and going absolutely everywhere, and you could barely keep it in the cone, honestly. It was like you sort of sipped it out of the cone. So it's a complete disaster, but lots of fun. And it seems exactly right that Rupert Grint should have an ice cream van for some reason. I can imagine.
Well, he's preparing for his career after Harry
Potter.
He
collects them though.
That's exactly what he's doing.
He tells me he goes out sometimes and just drives around and serves ice cream to kids on the street. Just kind of does that.
Yeah. The police are looking into that.
It's a hard thing, isn't it? But he's got to get the mix and the whole creation of the ice cream right before he can do that.
But why did he get it? I don't really understand why he needs an ice cream truck.
He likes collecting weird stuff. He's got all sorts of things. I travelled with him once on a plane, and he had a post office bag that the only postmen have to deliver letters in, and that was his kind of flight bag that he had. He likes to collect strange things, and ice cream vans are one of those things.
Seems like my type of person.
But if you can, why not? He's I don't know what I would buy. What would you buy if you could buy anything?
Well, probably an ice cream truck, but...
Oh, okay. That's original. Excellent.
Well, actually, you could probably have a chat with Rupert and get a good deal on one.
Yeah, I could. He's got contacts in the ice cream industry. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. You
Hi,
must stay, don't leave. Hello. What would you buy if you could buy anything?
That's actually quite a difficult question for me, to be honest.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, I'll probably think of an answer later, but yeah, it's one of my dreams to become an actor like you have, and I'm always thinking that there's that one actor who I would love to star alongside in a movie with. Who's that actor for you? Like one you've not starred with, but who you would like to star with in a future film?
That's actually quite a difficult question. What actor that I would like to star? I'd like to be in a film with Chevy Chase. I know that sounds weird. I like Chevy Chase. Will Ferrell as well. I'd like to do a film with Will Ferrell. It's kind of gathering your heroes together, really. And you know, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of my heroes in the past. And I guess, yeah, I'd like to work with those guys. Just comedy with those Steve Martin. I mean, those kind of classic kind of the 80s kind of comedy. I'm a big fan of those, the National Lampoon's films, Vacation, Vegas Vacation, all of that stuff. So, yeah. There you go. Have you thought of an answer to my question? Yeah.
What I would like to buy, if I could buy anything.
Yes.
Probably a replica of a Spider-Man costume.
Ah, a replica of Spider-Man costume. Would you put it on and leap about?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. See, I think what a great place Dubai would be for Spider-Man. I mean, there's so many buildings, aren't there, here? You can have a whale of a time around here.
But he's sweating in his costume, though.
There's no crime for him. We'd have to have a baddie.
There's nothing.
Who would be the baddie? What Spider-Man baddie would come to Dubai?
The Sandman.
Sandman.
He's already here.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Do you have another question?
Yeah. Who is the most annoying actor you've ever worked with?
Oh, I'm very diplomatic. I don't know whether I would say most annoying actor. I mean, actors, I'm not going to name names, but actors have very specific habits and things they do, and, you know, we're a weird bunch sometimes, and actors that annoy me are ones that don't prepare properly. You know, they'll come to set and they don't know their lines, they'll just kind of just be difficult the whole time, and it's like, just get on with the work, you're being paid enough, you know, just get on with it. And, you know, actors who haven't bothered to learn their lines, they have cards written up, you know, behind you, so you're in a scene with them and there's all these white cards with their lines, and as they're talking to you, you can see they're drifting off over here and here to find where their next line is, and, you know, it doesn't take much effort just to learn the lines and be prepared, you know, so that's sort of annoying. And just actors who have not reached the dizzying heights of A-list celebrity, but act like they are, you know, they're the ones that are most kind of annoying. It's just like, you know, just get on with it. You know, I can never understand, but they swan around like, you know, where's my trailer? You know, and all this sort of thing. It's
So how was it working with Val Kilmer?
Good work, good work. Thanks very much indeed, thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just wondering what it felt like to be what?
It felt like to be what?
No. Just.
Oh, hello.
I'm sorry, I'm just seconds away from having a fangirl attack, so.
Security, quick.
Breathe.
Okay.
I'll try.
Breathe. So what did it feel like? We got that far.
What for you when the Harry Potter movies ended?
When it all ended, what
Yeah.
did it feel like? Was you sad about this?
I was.
You were sad.
I
mean, it was sad. I mean, I was there filming on the very last day, and well, I did the shot that I was supposed to be doing with second unit as grip hook, and I went over to the other unit where they were filming with Dan, Rupert, and Emma. And it was a sequence, if you remember, it was actually from Deathly Hallows Part 1 was the last thing they shot, of them jumping through the flue place in Ministry of Magic. You know when they dive over the camera in slow motion? Remember that shot? That was the last thing that they filmed. And after they did that, the assistant director said, it's a wrap, we finished. And Dan actually stood up on a chair and said a sort of very moving speech, and part of that was that, you know, he kind of didn't know what he was going to do now. All he'd ever known as he grew up was this place, Leavesden Studios, and you know, you know, these people that he'd worked with all these years were kind of like his extended family, and yeah, it was really, really moving actually, and yeah, we all just sat around and went, wow, that's it, and then had runny ice cream outside.
I also wanted to know what it was like working with Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah, she's mad. She drinks more. I mean, honestly, to be Bellatrix, she drinks more coffee than you can ever imagine. That's what makes her like Bellatrix. It's because she's got just coffees and Diet Cokes.
Makes sense.
But she's a lovely lady, absolutely lovely lady, and then it was lovely to have her come and do some time on Life's Too Short as well, which is a great scene. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's on YouTube as well. If you haven't seen the series, you can just go and look for that particular scene. But she's lovely. I mean, I thought she was really great, and especially the scenes that I had with her in Deathly Hallows when she was Hermione being Bellatrix. So Helena was very clever in building some of Emma Watson into Bellatrix and some of Hermione, so you could. It wasn't full Bellatrix, but it was a really clever piece of acting because you really felt like that Hermione was in there somewhere as well, didn't you? Which was really great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. How did it feel acting with Daniel, Emma, and Rupert in Harry Potter?
How does it feel like? Well, I mean, as I said, I mean, they grew up. You know, they grew up on screen, didn't they, in these films? And you know, each year we'd get back together to do the next film, and they'd have a different haircut. They'd grown a bit. I hadn't. And it was. Yeah, I mean, they were great out. They always knew their lines. They were brilliant. They could put some, you know, top-class actors to shame. Those guys, you know, with their professionalism, dedication, and commitment to these films. I think, you know, the producers were very fortunate in casting such great people that could grow up and take these films all the way through. You know, it was. They were very fortunate to have the casting of those people.
And I have another question. Did you get to keep your wand when you were Professor Flitwick?
No, I didn't. You know, and I would have liked it. I dropped a lot of hints that I would like a wand. Because at home I have a willow wand from the film Willow, one of the little wiggly twig that I had in Willow. And I thought it'd be lovely to have a wand from Harry Potter to go along with that. The wands were very guarded. It was a bit like having a lightsaber in Star Wars. As soon as you'd used one, they would lock it away in a chest and only give it to you just before the scene. And recently, actually, just before I flew here, the weekend, I was at the studio tour in London doing a special surprise event. So it was a year anniversary, the studios had been open, and I would appear around the tour as a surprise guest and chat to people for 15 minutes. And in the Great Hall, they gave me my wand to use, and I did a little charms class for everybody.
You should have kept it.
And, well, no, they take it straight back. As soon as I finished, it was like, they take it straight back. But, so yeah, I didn't get to keep it, but it's nice to hold it again from time to time. But yeah, and there are many of them as well. They don't just produce one, they make many replicas because they do break. I think Dan broke several hundred wands in the course of the filming in the action sequences, so they have to make replica ones as well to use. Thank you very much for that
Thank you,
question.
just made my day.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think next time...
That was easy.
Easy, yeah. Next time, what we should do is we should get like a fake from one of the like cartoon shops or something.
Yeah,
take it in with you, just swap it.
You can get the replica ones. They're a bit
Swap it.
heavier, you see, than the real one. But yeah, I could swap it over, kind of.
I'm not obviously encouraging you to
No,
become
you're
a
not.
criminal,
The trouble
of
is,
course.
you see, that's out there now, and it's obvious what's going to happen.
It's going to be on YouTube. This
It's obvious what's going to happen now. I can't do that.
Sorry. Next question.
Yes.
Hi. It's an honor meeting you like this.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, since it was obviously too difficult to produce everything that happened in the book, like that would be like 10 hours long. But there were many scenes that Professor Flitwick had which were cut off, like which were edited out of the script.
Yes.
Is there anything you wish you could have done?
I would like to have done the duel with Snape. There was a duel, isn't there? that he
Yeah.
had with Snape. That's what I would like to have done. But you can only fit so much in, as you say. You know, they have to edit the book down to fit in a screenplay and tell the story that's told. And sometimes, you know, sequences are superfluous to that telling of the story. And me having a little fight with him doesn't really necessarily move the story anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So sadly, those things sometimes get left out. But yes. But I don't know what else to say to that. But, thank you very much. Lots of Harry Potter fans here, aren't they? They love it. They love that. Cool. Hello.
I was wondering, what actor were you most starstruck to work with?
That's interesting. I think we're starstruck by people we admire, don't we, in the world? And, you know, I can meet some actors and be totally cool about it. I met Michael Fassbender recently. I didn't know it was him. So I was like, yeah, all right. Val Kilmer introduced me to him. He said, oh, this is Michael. I went, all right, Michael. like that, just like that, and just carried on. I bet he's like, oh. Thinks he's it, that little fella, doesn't he? But I genuinely didn't know it was him, and I only found out later on when Val was talking and started saying stuff. I was like, oh no, that was him. I'm not very good at recognising people in general. I'm quite bad at that. A couple of other unfortunate. I didn't recognise Helen Mirren when I met her. I went to Taylor Hackford's house. He's a director. He is married to Helen Mirren. And I went there for a meeting about the film Ray that I did, the story of Ray Charles. And I went there, and this lady came in and said, "Would you like some tea?" I said, "No, thanks a lot." And he said, "That's all, Helen," or whatever. And then she went, and then I carried on. I thought it was his maid. It's the maid. It's Helen Mirren. So that was
so you've had a go at Hawkeye. You've dissed Magneto, and you thought the Queen was a maid.
Yeah, I know, it's bad, isn't it? It's bad.
Oh,
also, there was, who's that lady that was in Harry Potter with me as well? I can't remember her name now. She's, no, not me, I know who she is. She played Trelawney, is that the big... Emma, yeah.
Emma Thompson.
Like, she had a chat with me at a red carpet thing once. I was chatting away to this woman, going, all right, and she said, "Oh, Sylvester Stallone loves Life's Too Short, you know." And I said, "Oh, thanks, that's good to know." And I said, "All right, see you later." And I went, and then my wife said, "You don't know who that was, did you?" I said, "No, I don't know. She knows me, though." She said, "It's Emma Thompson, you work with her." I am useless, honestly, at knowing people's names. Really bad. So there's loads more of these. I won't go on anymore. Last time I did this, they actually printed a whole news story about it. It was bad. So, do you have any
Is there anyone from 7 Days in here? Anyone from 7 Days of the National? Because, you know,
Dear, oh dear. Thank you very much for that.
Hi, moving away from your films, you've also got a great app called Pocket Warwick.
Nice one. It's like I planted you in here. That's brilliant. Say it again. What were you saying? Sorry. I didn't hear it. Just say it again.
You've got a great app called Pocket Warwick.
What's it called? Yeah.
Pocket Warwick.
Yeah, and where can you get it?
iTunes Store.
Yeah, and also it's available on which other platform?
Android.
Oh yeah, Android. And, so remind me, how much does it cost?
he never has to pay for it.
No, it doesn't. It's free download. It's free download. You've got to give a bit back. You've got to give a bit back. Free download. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
How did you come up? What?
How did I come up with it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not just an endorsed app. It's my app that I created, basically. You know, there are a lot of celebrities that put their name to an app, but they really didn't have much to do with it. But Pocket Warwick came from the idea of me kind of loving technology and gadgets and iPhone particularly, and thinking, how can I merge that love with my love of performing and acting? And I said, it would be great to be in a phone. Wouldn't it be fun to have a sort of a character that lives inside your phone, basically? And then that became me living in the phone, and the idea of kind of you having to look after me, but then try and get me from being a Z-list celebrity up to being an A-list celebrity by sending me to auditions and all that sort of thing. So that was kind of the concept of it, and I teamed up with an app development company who know how to press all the buttons and do all the clever stuff. And over about 8 months we created the app, and it was fun for me because I was like directing a film, basically, sort of telling them, let's have it do this, and you know, I got to do hours and hours of voice recording that I wrote, the funny comments that Warwick says to you, and all the facial expressions of mine and all that sort of stuff. Have you got the game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the good answer. And how are you doing? Are you an A-list celebrity yet?
Not quite yet.
Not quite. Keep working at it. Keep working at that. And what's great about it as well, I can add things as I wish. So if I appear, for example, in Idiot Abroad, when that was on, if you've seen the show, you'll know that I dressed up as a panda. I dressed up as Casanova in Italy. So at the same time that the episode was on, we released those outfits into Pocket Warwick. So you can dress Pocket Warwick to look like the real Warwick. So art is imitating life, basically. And then I did a show called Comic Relief Bake Off, so you can get a little baker's outfit. And Doctor Who, we might try and do something to coincide with that as well. Recently, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Willow, there's some Willow wallpapers, some backgrounds, some posters, and a Willow outfit now, so you can dress Warwick as Willow again. So yeah, it's a fun little app that can keep on. It's never finished. Like a film is a finite time. You edit it, you release it, and it's kind of done. But with a game like that, you can keep on evolving and keep changing it. But, thank you very much. I'll pay you later. Thank you. Good work.
Oh, I think this is the last question.
Is it indeed? What are you
And
dressed
it's Thor.
Sword.
Thor.
Thor. I'm Thor.
Oh, don't have
Sorry.
go another
I'm having
Avenger,
a go
for
at
God's
Thor.
sake. Oh,
Hang on a
please.
minute. But where's your big hammer?
It's in my,
Oh, you've got a big hammer. See, Thor is Thor's like a god.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Prince of Asgard, I think.
Asgard, yeah.
And then but that means, how do you hang out with the superheroes then? How does that work? No, I'm not listening again. I'm just asking these questions. So, how does Thor get involved there?
You're on your own. I'm not getting involved in
I'm
this.
looking at you
all.
like you're some
No,
sort of
I'm kinda
expert.
like-
Yeah. Okay, Thor, fire away.
If you could be in any movie that was already made and that you weren't in, which movie would you be in?
I'll be in the Avengers.
Would you be a better version of Hawkeye?
Oh, I would. I'd be Hawkeye that can fly and be invisible. I mean, there's no getting away from him then, is there? Invisible,
You've saved it. You've saved
flying
it.
things, shooting arrows. I don't know whether that should be my real answer or not. I mean, I would like to. I mean, I love all that. I do genuinely like watching those films. Honestly, I think they're brilliant entertainment. All of the Iron Man films, the Captain America, all of that stuff. What else was there? Hulk films. I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about now, don't I? But yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to be in a sort of an action movie. I've done it like a James Bond kind of character, something like Mission Impossible. Yeah, something like that. I mean, everything's a Mission Impossible for me, really. Just reaching a book on a shelf, that can turn into that. It's like every time I'm doing that, I hear the music in my head. You know, as I'm scaling the shelf to get the book. So it's good. What films would you like to see me in? Thor to start with.
Willow 2.
Yeah, no, I asked for Thor. You will be ejected from the building. Go, Thor.
Any movie. I mean,
Any movie. Just wants to see me in any movie. That's all right. I like you. You're not a director, are you, by any chance? No, forget that. So what else? We got Willow 2 down here. Expendables 3. You want to see that? Okay. Anyone else?
Supernatural.
Hang on a minute. You with your hand up.
Supernatural.
That's a question, but I will answer it because it kind of relates. There was a prank on Twitter about me being in Game of Thrones replacing Peter Dinklage. A lot of people got angry about that. A lot of people, but some people were excited. There's obviously two camps going on here. So two dwarf camps.
Was Dinklage on the phone? Oi!
No, I don't know who put this out. I don't think it was HBO official, was it? I thought it was some other Twitter that wasn't their official one. But yeah, there's no plans for me to be in Game of Thrones. Peter does a terrific job in there, and yeah, so keep doing that. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.